No good?
This is the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, April 19th, 2012. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Finis Monitor today, we'll talk to Matt Kredich. He is now the head coach of the swim teams for the men and women at the University of Tennessee. And Matt Kredich joins us right now in the Finis Monitor from Knoxville. Coach, welcome back to the Morning Swim Show. How you been?
Been great. It's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, it looks like they threw a little bit more on your plate down there in Knoxville.
Yeah, I was hungry. I needed more.
Well, you've been coaching the women for a long time and had some great success, including 7th at this year's NCAAs, but it's no secret that the men's program has fallen a bit behind. So there's a challenge in front of you for sure.
Yeah, there is. Our men's program has an incredibly storied history, and in the last few years, we have not lived up to the standard that I think was set. Not only by the men's swimming and diving team in the 70s and 80s, but also just by Tennessee in general. And we with our new pool and with the success of the women's team, we've got our eyes on the top, and I think we've got everything we need to get there.
Now, is this a slow and steady approach, or do you feel like, in 2-3 years you can be in the top 10?
Question. I'm not really putting a timeline on it. We've got a lot of goals, and we'll start where we are. I mean, our men's team it has, I think, a lot of ability, a lot of guys with some skills that I don't really think have been brought out necessarily in their time at Tennessee, but that remains to be seen. I'm not that familiar with them, and so we could take some big steps forward next year in standings, but we could also take some big steps forward that you may not see, like changes in culture, changes in attitude, just changes in the way we approach things. And I'm in the really early processes of evaluating exactly where we are.
When's the last time you coached guys?
Including Davis Tarwater?
Well, men's team as a whole.
It was 2001 when I left Brown University, and so that's about 12 years, I guess.
Big difference between coaching men's and women's team. What is it?
The suits, what the suits cover, pretty much. No, I don't.
I guess I'm asking: are there some skills that maybe you haven't exercised in a while that now you're going to have to put back into play?
I'm sure there are. I'm not sure I can really list what those are. However, yesterday's practice, I think, is a good example. There was some competition and warm-up that we haven't seen on the women's side, period. One of our guys, who will remain nameless, I think beat Kelsey Floyd in the first easy 400 and let her know about it. So that whole competitive element, I think the dynamic's going to change a little bit, and I think that's something that we've always worked on with our women. And not to get on a soapbox or anything, but women are not encouraged to compete the same way that men are encouraged to compete from the time that they're boys and girls. And so what we see by the time we're coaching at college level is, in some ways, the result of societal values for boys and girls in competition. Now, in swimming, I know that our clubs are all about creating competition and creating healthy ways of looking at competition, but there's still, that's not the only place that they're spending their time, and they're getting reinforced by society in different ways for competing. So if I'm going to be really serious about coaching a men's team and coaching a women's team, I have to recognize those differences in the way competition has been reinforced with them in the past. And then I've got to have an eye towards the way we want to view competition as competitive swimmers and divers. And I think there are good ways and bad ways to do it.
So I take it you've combined the program, make sure that everybody's training together, like a typical combined program?
Yeah, we're doing this really slowly. I mean, this happened last Thursday, and our men's and women's schedules have been different all year. So what we've offered to do is still run the typical practice times for men and women, but allow them to kind of cross over. So we had some guys in the what had been the women's time slot yesterday.
Interesting. Tell me about some of the kids that could have a real good summer and maybe make a run at the Olympic team.
On both women and men's teams?
Sure, yeah. Well, including Davis.
Yeah. Well, Davis is training with SwimMac, and
was he just there part-time? What was that? I remember he was there when we interviewed Jennifer Connelly.
His family is still here in Knoxville, so he comes by periodically and will train us and basically cause trouble. But on the women's team, I think we've got 12 people going to trials, and people who have been in the top 8 at nationals before, I think have a real shot to make it. And those people right now are Lindsay Hendren, Kelsey Floyd, and Jenny Connelly. And that's, again, not to say that other people don't have that shot. Caroline Simmons is a first year in our program, and she was top 8 at NC2As, and her speed keeps coming. She's a great sprinter. But on the men's side, Tristan Slater is a British swimmer, and he did not make his team at Olympic trials, but I think he's going to be making some noise this summer for Great Britain. And then for U.S. Olympic trials, Sam Raridan is a sophomore on our team who I think has a whole lot of upside. He's had a lot of success actually in the backstroke and the freestyle events, and I think his fly is going to come along pretty well too. So we expect him to get some second swims at Olympic trials as well.
Jenny Connelly was a senior, right?
Correct.
Big leader on the team. Is it going to be tough to repeat the success next year on the women's team at NCAAs?
Well, she's impossible to replace. She just brought us so much in the way of competitiveness and, of course, the points that she scored. But we didn't have the perfect meet at NC2As. I think we left some swims and dives out there. So the group that's coming back knows that we can be a lot better. We also have, I think, some outstanding can help us replace some of what we lose with Jenny on relays, but also in just generally depth. But clearly we're going to have more people step up in order to be better. And we're going to have to put together a better team performance than we did this year in order to place higher than 7th. And that's definitely what we're aiming to do.
Well, Coach, I see the kids warming up back there, and I see our time is almost out on your hourglass, so we'll let you get to practice.
Thanks, Peter. It's been good talking to you again. Thanks for the coverage.
Nice to talk to you. Good luck in the new adventure.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, that's Coach Matt Kredich joining us from Knoxville today, and that's it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.